Hi friends, host Eric here. I'm going to dispatch this nonsense once and for all. You didn't address my point. First of all, you didn't have a point. Your point was a bunch of questions, remember? Let's go look at your point. It says right here. Okay, I don't even know who put this. One has to wonder why Captain F.E. was so quick to mock a girl for expressing discomfort about the pictures and yet went to extraordinary lengths to defend a woman he knew was a liar and manipulating drama queen. One has to wonder that. Is that your point? Is it because he didn't want to fuck the first girl? Question. She wasn't attractive enough to care about her opinion? Question. Did she refuse to send a titty pic to the page? The world may never know. What is your point, then, Gabriel? What's your point? You asked a bunch of questions of things that were intended to imply awful things that weren't remotely related to this situation, but you didn't make a point as far as I could tell, except maybe that it's wrong to hold Naughty to account when I defended Courtney. Except I did hold Courtney to account, and I defended her as an exercise in justice processes, not in preference of a given side, really. So there's that. You don't really make the distinction or understand it. And second of all, this is a more significant evil as far as I'm concerned. The bottom line is there are different kinds of wrongnesses, and some of them are dangerous and bad and evil, and some of them are less, or just sort of annoying, you know? Ones that prioritize the suppression of expression in favor of some weighting of feelings rather than like there's certain kinds of expression I will suppress because it's dishonest. That's not the reason she's saying suppress this kind of expression. She's not saying suppress this expression because you're lying. She's saying express it because it's similarity to something that I perceive as bad, and the people associated with the similar thing that I think is bad, I attribute to them bad motivations. I now attribute them to you, Eric, because I've conflated the two things. Your thing is kind of similar to something that's bad, so it must be bad too. Since that thing that's kind of bad is done by bad people, therefore you must be bad too. It's the worst sort of sloppy thinking, and certainly not justification to modify anybody's expressive tendencies. Unless anybody can point to actually how anything I put up there is wrong or bad or harmful, then I'm absolutely correct at calling Nandi out for wanting anybody to prioritize her completely unwarranted feelings, falsely warranted feelings. That's the thing, falsely warranted. Okay, now Gabriel McManus. First of all, let's learn some lessons from this. Asking questions is not making points, and you do a lot of asking questions. How is she feel flat wrong in your eyes when it's a subjective state of being for her? Well, because she's advocating for the suppression of expression on the grounds that it makes her feel bad, even though she's failed to draw any link between the actual thing expressed or the manner of expression and any reasonable negative response by anybody. That's why it's not arbitrary what I'm saying. Where the fuck do you get off demanding other people conform to your standards of what is or isn't decent and respectful? I don't get off demanding other people conform to my standards. That's what Nandi's doing. That's what you're doing. I'm saying I'm posting cool stuff. You don't like it, fine. Tell me you don't like it. I'd be happy to engage you about all your points. I'm not going to suppress your points, right? I want to answer them. I want you to stand there and answer back. Say, oh shit, I am wrong. Eric's right. Or, nuh-uh, Eric's wrong, I'm still right. And explain why. And get responded to directly by me. No dodging. Not any dodging at all. See, this is called morality. All right. Not in that you demand they simply respect yours, but they literally aren't allowed to feel a certain way about a subject. She's allowed to feel however she wants. I'm opposing her advocacy that the expression be suppressed on the grounds of her feelings. Do you understand that her feelings don't justify telling other people what to do? I'm making another video. Doesn't matter what level my blood pressure is. I was just as right when I was screaming as I am right now. And holy shit, your strawmanning is unreal. You strawman an argument, not a person. So tell me, which argument of hers did I reduce to an unfairly simple version of itself? Posting titty pics is your personal way of fighting for truth and justice? In part, sure. Whatever plane of reality you're on, it's not the one the rest of the world is on. That's true. I'm trying to get everybody... Whatever. You're right. I'm not on the same plane of reality. That's not a critique. That's praise. Because to the extent that it's different, it's because it's superior. And it's more correct. And, you know, good for me. I don't know what else to say about that. Funny enough, I see both of your sides and actually agree to a base premise of yours. However, instead of howling like a baboon, perhaps you should calmly explain how you're viewed to the person the next time something like this happens. Well, here's the thing. If I just calmly explained it, would it have been as successful at getting through the significance of this? It is important. It's the most important kind of wrongness. If you are guilty of a wrongness that suppresses the expression of others, even if, I'm saying like legally suppresses it, but advocates that people constrain their expression on the grounds that you feel bad, but you can't point to a way in which the expression is actually itself bad, that's a significant evil. It needs to be stopped. And so I tend to bring big hammers to big evils. Now, if you're somebody like this fellow, you're guilty of a very small evil, which is the evil of pressing a point for the sake of pressing it, you know, because you think you got some ground there. Good job. I mean, who cares? I don't care. The thing is, what's kind of awful about what he says, though, is this. However, instead of howling like a baboon, perhaps you should calmly explain. Instead of calmly being wrong, perhaps she should not be wrong. You know? If I'm howling, it's because people are exhibiting stubbornness against points that are clearly correct. When one side is wrong and the other side is right, and there is a appeal to the middle ground, then somebody's got to step up and say, no, compromise is wrong. One person is completely correct and the other person is completely wrong. That's why any middle ground solution will be the wrong solution. And, in fact, this instance, you might argue that it would be more effective for me to explain it calmly. You might argue that by howling like a baboon, I play into people's inherent bias against those who display passion, but in doing so, I help them to understand that it doesn't matter how much I'm yelling or screaming, they need to hear the words I'm saying, not the tone that I'm using, because if they guess, this is all they're doing, if they guess whether I'm right or wrong based on my tone, well, then they are not any more likely than 50% to be right. So, Gabriel McManus, one of the benefits of me howling like a baboon is the opportunity to explain this to you, the fact that if you are adjudicating things based on the tone and the level of passion or emotion, and you're talking about me, the correlation is 0. All right, so my issue wasn't that you dared to post titty pics, and not even the way you so flippantly and with significant vitriol told the girl to blow her feelings out of her ass, first on the page and secondarily here. It's the hypocrisy you displayed by doing so. Two females expressed opinions about their own subjective feelings, and yet only one of them was worth defending. Who's the other one? Oh, Courtney. Why? Genuine question. Why? What made Courtney's feelings any more valid than the other girls? Have you seen An Hour and a Half with the Earth's Stupidest Woman? Have you seen that video, Gabriel? Did I coddle Courtney? Did I coddle Courtney? Was I really careful with Courtney's feelings? Are you sure about that? Are you really sure about that? Let's see. Let's find out how careful I was with Courtney's feelings. Okay. Let's see. Let's find out. Oh yeah, this is gonna be sexy. Let's find out just how nice I am to Courtney. Let's find out.
I didn't say that. You've been lying all fucking night and engaging in personal attacks. You are a worthless fucking lying sack of shit. So, enough, okay? You finally annoyed me sufficiently to tell you the truth. All your words are lies, and your thinking is a pile of dog shit on the bottom of a cesspool at the...
Okay, does that make it clear? Let's go back to Fuckhead's genius comment. Kimberly gets to discover the exciting world of having your Facebook messages part of my videos. Pipe later. And then meow. Okay, so what am I doing? Why? Genuine confusion. Why? What made Courtney's feelings any more valid than the other girls? Why did Courtney trigger your FE over and over again for weeks? I exaggerated for effect, but the only logical explanation I can immediately come up with is that you have an obsession with female attention like titty pics. It's why you make the case that if you don't like the way I run this group, then fuck off and leave here. That's not the case I made. Because you received female attention by doing so, not at all, and previously either abstained or defended Courtney's argument that she deserves the right to be in the group, or to change the way things are run because you received female attention by defending her and didn't lose as much favor by abstaining. Except I didn't defend her as a general rule. I took the role of her defense attorney in the case, and I argued that side. Now, the reason is because you're failing to distinguish between points, Gabriel, and it makes me think you're stupid, frankly. And I don't mean to be personally attacking you, but you're either stupid or really I think what you're doing is attacking, looking for angles of attack. If you actually pay attention to what we're talking about here, when Courtney was trying to attack on a discursive level, as Nandi was, I fucking laid the lumber on her ass. I made a video called An Hour and a Half of Earth's Stupidest Woman. There's another one that's equivalent to this. There's a couple more that are equivalent to this. Now, the fact that I then argue the intellectual issue of whether or not what one does with a post-criminal individual in a community like this, in social mores, was an interesting question. I'm not accusing Nandi of doing any concrete wrong or harm to me. I'm accusing her of being extraordinarily wrong in a way that's particularly bad.
Explicitly told you, no, Courtney, I am not being cued by you. Do you remember what the assumption was from, Courtney? What was the assumption I was actually making, sweetie? Do you remember? Or is your retardation acting up again?
Okay, so yeah, I am coddling the shit out of Courtney, aren't I? But you're pretty disingenuous. I never said, you don't like the way I run this group, then fuck off and leave here. I said, your wrongness is incredibly wrong, and your wrongness should fuck off. I never encouraged anybody to leave anywhere. I didn't tell anybody that they shouldn't post a quill and shit against me in the group. I encourage that kind of shit. You know why? Because I'm just and I'm right. And your accusations here, the story you're telling, it's obscene, dude. This is the problem. This is the problem when we allow Nandi's kind of wrongness to be out there and achieve validity of any sort. We double down. We get that fucking disastrous mess. Gabriel McManus, disgustingly weak argumentation. Disgustingly weak and aggressive and fighty and not actually on point and not fair and not logical and not reasonable. So either stop being so passive aggressive or stop being so retarded or both. You're wrong, wrong, wrong.